Welcome to Sports, Wheels, and Reels with Jeff Miller and Austin Horton. One show, two guys, three topics, unlimited possibilities. Presented by Mark Miller Subaru. Engage with us on social media or email us at podcast@mmsubaru.com. And now, welcome your hosts, Jeff Miller and Austin Horton.
Episode 10, Sports, Wheels, and Reels. Now we're working. Now we're flying
here.
high.
Happy to be here.
He's Josh Goldsmith in for Jeff Miller, the world traveler.
The world traveler.
He's gonna come back tanned and
I know.
Just drunk.
The life, the life he lives.
So he's Josh. I'm Austin. We have made it to our 10th episode. I do sound a little sick, but I'm no longer sick. I was.
It's been tough to get to this point, but we are here.
10 was avoiding us for a long time. Coming up on the show today, obviously sports. We got to talk about the madness that was in March.
Oh.
We got to talk about the Jazz. Playoffs begin in less than, 11 days?
It's coming up quick.
Yeah, well, actually, like 8 days.
Yeah.
Then in Wheels, we have some local transportation news.
Yep.
We have great news if you're looking to order a Subaru, and we're talking about our Love Promise partners for the month of April. And in Reels, to wrap up the show, movie news galore, including the heard round the internet.
I'm excited.
Talk about it next, right here on Sports, Wheels, and Reels.
My name is Spencer Kofed, and my Subaru is Extreme Adventure. Outback's really great for my lifestyle. It's got the ground clearance, it has four-wheel drive, it has just enough space for all my gear, but it's not crazy big of a footprint, so you can drive around the city really easily. It's a great car. And I almost never sleep in a tent now when I camp. I always sleep in the back of the Outback. I backcountry ski a lot here in the Wasatch, and I tour a lot, and to get there in a snowstorm, I want something reliable, and the Subaru gets me to the trailhead, and then I can go hike and ski Utah's great powder. If any of my friends were looking to buy a Subaru, I'd recommend Mark Miller Subaru. They have a promise price guarantee. It's just a really transparent experience. You never feel like they're hiding stuff from you. Whether it's skiing, skydiving, dirt biking, mountain bikes, surfing, and wakeboarding, my Subaru gets me out on my adventures. Subaru is a brand I trust, and Mark Miller Subaru is the Utah retailer that I love.
All right, time for sports, Josh Goldsmith.
Where do you even start?
Well, before we get into the Utah Jazz, and there's a lot to get into.
There's a lot. Probably a whole show's worth.
Yeah, I had to leave off something about Carlos Boozer. They're honoring Carlos Booze over at the Jazz game tonight.
And a breakfast tomorrow.
Breakfast with Boozer, or booze for breakfast? No, that
Maybe.
But didn't work.
No.
Didn't go so well. But let's talk about the March Madness that was, because one of the main reasons Jeff Miller is not here today is because he
couldn't face you.
Couldn't take it.
He fled all the way to Mexico to avoid the embarrassment.
This was his idea.
It was
to,
his idea.
To put something on the line. He was that confident that he was going to win the bracket of the Sports, Wheels, and Reels March Madness.
And if I'm remembering correctly, you, the winner, got to choose a hat for the other to wear.
That's right.
And not a good hat.
No, a hat that the loser would not want to wear.
Would not want to be seen in public wearing.
So the next episode we do with Jeff Miller in this seat, he will be, for the whole show,
what are you
not
gonna
just
pick?
The sports segment, he'll be donning, because I won the bracket by a whopping 110 points.
Hey, a win's a win.
With no teams in the Final Four.
That's
I
incredible.
still beat him.
That's incredible.
It was a good first 2 days of the tournament for me, and the rest of it was awful.
Yep.
So I know he's a big Jazz fan, and he hates the Lakers.
Hates the Lakers.
So I'm thinking about a Lakers hat.
All right.
But we also know about Jeff Miller that he's a big Utah fan. And
Big Utah fan.
I can't think of a worse hat to make a Utah fan wear than the team down south. The old BYU
BYU?
Cougars. Yeah, BYU Cougars.
Ooh.
Can you imagine?
He might permanently move to Mexico now that he hears this.
I think that's where I'm going to go, because then I will take a screen grab on our video and make it my Twitter profile until he wins the next bet.
Or doesn't come back from Mexico.
Or fires me. One or the other.
One or the other.
He could do that. It's within his power.
We
might be within your power.
We might even have to get Mike to change the logo back here to Jeff having a BYU hat.
Just put a little Y, a little block
right
Y
there.
on that bill.
I like
Gosh, onto something there. All right, so how'd you do, by the way, in your brackets?
I finished middle of the pack.
So not well.
Not well.
Yeah. Who
Not
did you
well.
have winning all?
I had Gonzaga as well.
So did I.
Yeah.
What was your Final Four? Do you remember?
I think I had Gonzaga, Villanova,
Okay.
who else? I don't remember the other two. It's been so long, I kind of checked out.
I was Gonzaga, Baylor. Neither
Okay.
of them made it. Duke,
All right.
North Carolina were there instead.
Okay.
And I had Houston, Auburn. And neither of them made it. It was Villanova, Kansas instead. So at least you had Villanova in the Final Four. So you had a Final Four team. So you probably
Yeah.
did end up better than me. Do you have your max points, what you scored?
God, they don't even have it on that. They've just.
Well, they don't have it.
It was so bad.
I scored 550. So I'm sure that's about middle
I
of
think
the
I
pack.
scored 475.
All right. So there
Middle
we
of the.
go.
I'm counting it as middle of the pack.
So that is the madness that was, and we'll do it again next year. We'll pretend we
We'll
know
look
what we're
forward to
talking
it.
about
Oh, I
again in
do
a
have
year's
it.
time. Oh, what'd you
All
get?
right.
You had Arizona, Gonzaga in the final.
Yep.
Your Pac-12 bias showing,
Yep. I mean, it has to, right? You have to get it somewhere.
and you did have Villanova in the Final Four.
I did.
You had Kansas, USC,
USC.
North Carolina, UCLA. So you had
Exactly.
Carolina, not Villanova, in the
No, I
Final
did have
Four.
Villanova.
Oh, what am I looking at? Oh, you had Villanova, Kansas. Or USC, but it was Kansas instead of USC. That's right.
Tough.
All right, well, let's talk about the Utah Jazz, Josh. Let's move on. Let's get to the NBA.
This is tough for me.
Since our last show, which was March 18th, by the way, almost a month.
Hopefully people didn't think we had been, like, canceled.
Well, we almost, kind of. Yeah.
Kinda.
The illness
Touch and
tried to
go.
cancel
I
me
know, we almost
altogether.
had to find a new co-host.
All I'll say is I've met my deductibles for the whole year.
Early.
The Jazz have had 11 games since our last show. And they've gone a rock solid 5-6.
I know you didn't have high hopes. Jeff Miller had high hopes.
He
Was
still
feeling
does.
Very confident
Yeah, he still does.
that they were going to have a pretty good post All-Star game.
Yeah, you and I talked. I thought 18-6. You thought somewhere
We were
around
at
there
the
as well.
ballpark. Yeah.
They've only won 12 of those 16 games thus far.
Yeah. And how many of the ones that we lost did we lose by double digits? Where we had a double-digit lead.
Well, they have 11 total this season, don't they? Where they?
I think it's 15.
Oh, now it's up to
I think
15.
it's 15.
That's
And
the.
3 of those are in the last 11.
Oh, for sure. In fact, I think you're right, because it was 11 at the break. It was 10 at the break, and they've had 4 or 5 since.
Yeah.
So anyway, they got 2 regular season games left tonight against Phoenix, who could end up winning 62 games, 64
They're
games.
at 60.
2 or 3 right
62
now.
or 3.
They could have a
They could get to
65 win
65
season.
wins.
So they're obviously the 1 seed in the whole league.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Not even close.
that's how it should be done. By the way, it should be a league standing. It shouldn't be
Yep.
conferences. That's
agree.
just another
I agree.
conversation. So they got Phoenix tonight, who likely is not playing for anything,
Nope.
and then Sunday at Portland, who
I was also
has
not playing for
obviously
anything.
not. They
are
haven't all year.
handing out wins.
Yeah, and-
You get a win. You get a win. It's like you're on the Oprah show.
And so they're right now a game behind Dallas, or half a game behind Dallas.
I think
in the
half a game behind Dallas and a game ahead of Denver.
And they have the 4-0 tiebreaker with Denver.
And Dallas is a game behind
Golden State. And Golden State has Portland, San Antonio, and Dallas has San Antonio and I forget who. But it's
Yeah.
so if I were a
I
betting
think it's
man,
OKC.
OKC, I think
Yeah.
you're right. If I were a betting man, Josh Goldsmith,
Yeah. Where do they finish?
I think the Jazz do finish 5th,
Okay.
but I think the Warriors finish 4th.
You think?
And the Jazz get what they absolutely earned and deserved in that first round matchup. And if
You
I
think it's gonna
picked
be a
it
first round departure?
in 6 games,
Okay.
they get Golden State at Golden State in the first round.
despite the performance that we put up the other night against OKC, you think we're a first-round exit?
Against who?
I think it's OKC, but I also heard it's like
they're like
some high school kids.
They're close to a. They would maybe lose to the Salt Lake City Stars, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're terrible.
Yeah,
they're bad.
I heard they had to go back to college film to try and come up with a game plan for the guys that we were playing.
They in Portland, yeah. It's like a Make-A-Wish team. You get to be in the NBA tonight. All right, so the Jazz are going to lose to the Warriors in the first round.
Okay.
If I had to put money on it today,
count it.
I've lost all confidence in them, Josh. And look,
it's hard.
It's not
and
just
it kind of centers with these two guys.
It does.
Donovan and Rudy.
It does, and I know Rudy, they've both said what they need to say. Rudy the other day said people are trying to tear them apart. My question is, are any of those people connected to Donovan Mitchell and his future?
Trying to kind of...
Is one of those people Johnny Bryant or Walt Perrin or Leon Rose
I think it's going to be a very interesting offseason.
But here's where I lost all my confidence, Josh. It wasn't just them losing all these games. It's how much not only the players, but I was
our coach
floored to see Quin Snyder go on a 19-minute rant.
We're going to talk about the slap that was heard around the world, but also the 19-minute rant that was heard around the world.
And look, I like Quin Snyder as a person. I know him somewhat personally, mostly professionally.
Yep.
But a guy who does not have 4 minutes to do a weekly radio show suddenly has 19 minutes to talk about tabloids.
So let me ask you this.
That bothers me greatly.
Given what we've seen over the last 2-3 weeks, we've already said you think we're going to have a first-round exit against Golden State.
Yeah.
Do you think Quin Snyder is our coach going into next season?
I don't, and I think that's something that he's about to make a decision on.
Okay.
I don't know that he's not wanted by the ownership group.
Yeah.
I think that would be crazy to not want. I think he's really good. He has improvements to make, like he's somehow stuck on this analytical rotation of 4 to 6 minutes, and it's not how you win games. You have to make in-game changes.
Decisions.
The rumors of Doc Rivers with the Jazz, though, vomit. I love Doc Rivers as a person, but he's a wildly overrated coach. But I do think Quin Snyder is going to leave.
Do you think he ends up at the Lakers or the Spurs?
I would
or somewhere else?
I would guess the San Antonio Spurs before the Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay.
But I think beyond that, I truly believe this Jazz roster is in its final days together.
I think given how the last
whether it's these
3
two guys,
weeks
I don't know,
have gone.
These two guys here.
Yeah, it makes me worried. So, all right, second question.
Yeah.
You don't think Quin's going to be on the team at the end of this, going into the season next year?
If he gets an offer from someone, he's gone.
What players do you think are on this team going into next year?
I don't believe that you're going to see.
I know it's a tough question.
I don't think you're going to see Royce O'Neal as pivotal going forward.
Okay.
I don't believe you're obviously not going to see Joe Ingles. He's gone. I don't know about Donovan and Rudy together if they lose in the first round.
Yeah.
If they do exit the first round, unless it's a 7-game series where it's
a grind
and they somehow are working more.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you put the on-the-floor issues aside. And
another year.
I've never agreed with setting aside the off-the-floor issues.
I agree.
So one of those guys is probably getting moved.
Yeah.
If the Jazz lose in the first round, and if that's the case, if I were running the team, I'd probably move Donovan Mitchell
and pick up Lillard.
Because send him for Damian Lillard. Because Donovan Mitchell's leaving anyway eventually.
Right.
And he's not going to have more trade value than he does right now.
I would agree.
And you're a small market team. You got to know your role. You got to know who you are.
Yep.
Can you achieve greatness as a small market team? Yes.
Absolutely.
But you have to do things that are painful to get there, like sitting David Robinson for a whole season and drafting Tim Duncan. You have to pull the trigger on something like sending Donovan for a bevy of stuff to then try and put it together at the end of fill-in-the-blank guy's career like a Damian Lillard.
Yep.
Because if the Jazz trade the kingdom for one championship, That's fine if they never win another game in a lot of fans' eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would do.
All right.
But maybe they fix it. Maybe it is a Quin Snyder departure that fixes things.
We will see what happens.
I just think you're going to see a ton of change over the next 5, 6, 7 weeks.
I think the Jazz going into the 2022-23 season are going to look very different.
Hit us up on our socials. Let us know what you think. You're the Jazz fans out there. You're the NBA fans, the sports fans. Tell me I'm nuts and why I'm nuts. Let me know.
Tell me he's a pessimist.
I did take a shot at the Jazz the other night when North Carolina blew that national championship game.
Tweet.
And Jazz fans didn't like it.
No.
But it was accurate.
Do you want to repeat what that tweet was for the people that
the Jazz
on Twitter?
They should probably draft a Carolina player because they already know how to blow second half leads.
Oh.
They're already half part of the team. So
Jeff is cringing on the beach.
Jeff
currently.
Miller would be right here ludicrous, calling me ludicrous.
Losing his mind.
Livid at me.
The good news, the
For
bright
doubting.
spot is we are not the Lakers. We have clinched a playoff spot, and we're not in
Raise
the
the
play-in
banner.
tournament.
Raise
Here
the
we
banner.
go.
They did avoid the play-in, which I thought was a possibility.
It was close.
And
It
the
was
Lakers
close.
are out. So it's kind of like me as a baseball fan. Every year when the Yankees get eliminated, I think whatever your trials, take heart. The Yankees will not win the World Series
And
this
that's
year.
a happy day.
And the Lakers will not.
Yeah.
The Memphis Grizzlies as the 2 seed, by the way.
Crazy.
That was out of
I saw a stat the other day that the Suns, the Grizzlies, and Dallas were like lottery teams. I think it was only like 3 years ago.
Yep. Mhm.
And they are now in the top 4.
Clearly the Grizzlies won the Mike Conley trade.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, coming up next, that is sports. We'll get into wheels. Lots of local news and good news if you want to order a Subaru. Be right back on Sports Wheels and Reels.
Be back.
Wheels.
My name is Sierra Hudson. I'm a wife, mom, business owner, and my Subaru is safety for my family. So my husband Colton and I have 3 beautiful little girls. We love adventures. There's just so much to do outside, and we love being able to jump in our Subaru and just go. We've brought all 3 of our babies home from the hospital in our Subaru. So Subaru really is just a brand that's part of our family as well. My husband, he actually surprised me for Christmas in 2019 with a Subaru Ascent, and that was just the best Christmas present ever. So this past winter, it was January, we decided to take a spontaneous trip to St. George. My husband he hit a black ice or just snow, and we just started to slide. I was in the back seat and I was just making sure, kind of bracing for my kids to be safe. And it was just one of those moments where you truly feel helpless. We hit into the cement barrier and then rotated and hit a FedEx freight truck. And after we hit that truck, we spun again. The airbags had gone off and everything was fine at that point. Our Subaru, put its life on the line for us. And I just thought that was, I know it's a car, but it means so much more to us and our family. So there's no other car I want to drive. Subaru is one of the safest brands, and people can tell you that it has all the safety features, all the bells and whistles, but I've personally lived that. I mean, we went through such a horrific accident, and I can just attest that the Subaru truly is as safe as they say. The Ascent has Subaru Eyesight, and that is just an extra pair of eyes on the road, which I know I could use, and I'm sure you other moms could use as well. So when we were looking to get another Subaru, the only place that I could trust was Mark Miller Subaru. At Mark Miller Subaru, they have their Promise Price program, which is when you go in, the price you see is the price you pay. They're not haggling you. I mean, their salespeople aren't even paid on commission. So you just feel so comfortable when you walk in the doors. And as a woman, I just feel like I'm not being, talked down to. It's just such a great overall experience. As a mom with 3 busy kids, I don't have the time to drop them off places, so it's so nice that I can bring them here when I'm getting services done, looking for a new car. They have a cafeteria, they have a kids' play area, and it just makes the experience completely just relaxing, like it should be. I love Mark Miller Subaru, and so many other people do too, but hey, don't take my word for it. Just Google them. I mean, you'll see how many positive reviews come up. Subaru is a brand you can trust, and Mark Miller Subaru is the local Utah retailer that you will love.
All right, time for Wheels here on Sports Wheels and Reels. Josh Goldsmith, and I want to start here with the good news. If you're in the market to order a Subaru, it's been a rough 4 or 5 weeks around here.
Been touch and go.
We've been closed on a lot of our orders.
Yeah.
But right now, currently, you can place an order for an Ascent,
Yep.
a Legacy, an Outback, and an Impreza, and get almost all of those in June or July, with the exception of the Legacy's probably going to be coming in August.
Yeah.
But they're all available.
Pretty good news.
There are some model trims without a moonroof that
They're a
might be
little
tough to
longer.
get.
Yep.
But we have a lot of opportunity right now for those who are thinking, okay, before the assumed used car market bubble pops
Yep.
in the fall,
Let's get it done.
get a new car now for used car prices
Yeah.
with a refundable $500 deposit.
Yeah.
Order the car exactly how you want it, the features you want, the accessories, the color, everything. You pick it, you specify it, you personify it,
Oh.
personalize it,
Personalize
customize it.
There you go.
And then in a few short weeks, you get your brand new car. And
Yeah.
your trade-in, by the way, has never been higher in value, so get that done.
Who would have guessed that a car would ever be an appreciating asset?
Only the pandemic
Mind
knew
blowing.
what was going to happen.
Yeah.
there.
Welcome to 2022. everybody.
So come on in, see us at either Midtown or Southtown. Really, come to Midtown. 3535
Austin.
South State. Any of the salespeople out there are great. I'm the new guy, so you probably want someone a little more seasoned, so your order doesn't
yeah.
get messed up. but,
Canceled.
yeah.
Yeah. One of those.
All right, let's go to some local news. Josh Goldsmith.
Yeah.
UTA did the free fair February.
And it was a hit.
It was the biggest increase in ridership ever in the history of UTA.
Yeah. And I think
month
the
over
busiest
month.
month specifically in the last 3 years.
That's right.
Which,
Yep.
tough timetable to kind of compare it to with COVID and so many people working from home. But
Yeah.
still, I think a lot of potential moving forward. I think it was a really great kind of case study as to maybe this could help with some of our pollution problems, especially during the winter.
Yeah, man. And I was a little worried. I thought we were going to see like a 5-6% bump, and we saw a 16%
It's
rise.
not just a fluke.
So I hope that not only tells UTA, but our state leaders
Yeah.
that free fares should be a thing going forward.
Yeah. Make a big impact. Make a
And-
big difference.
And along these lines of, do you put a pause on gasoline tax
Yeah.
during the high rise in gas prices, and Governor Cox saying we can't do that because gas tax pays for every UDOT employee's salary.
Yep.
Don't we have billions of surplus right now as a state?
I've heard rumors.
Can't we give us citizens a little
bit of a break.
3-4 month
Yeah.
break and still employ UDOT? I'm
It's
just
crazy.
saying. All right. Also, speaking of UDOT has announced that the Little Cottonwood Canyon decision, gondola, bus, express lane, what are they going to do? They held this open period of discussion and comments with the public, and the deadline has come and gone with no
Yeah.
announcement.
Yeah.
They've now said that they're going to extend that thinking process. I think they
A
said
little bit longer.
80 days, but
so.
they have given themselves a ultimatum. It's got to be one or the other, and move forward with
Yep.
it.
I think it'll be good once. I mean, this conversation's been around for years at this point,
Yeah.
right? I think there's been a lot of turmoil, a lot of stress, a lot of varying inputs